worry. You get? So the title of the topic is how to make money. So even if you do not listen to the entire lecture, you should have an idea of the fact that this person wants to talk about finances, right? How you can make money, things you need to do to make money, and how you can save money, how you can multiply money. Those are the things that they likely discuss in their meeting. You have an idea. And so they now said that your topic must be captivating, right? It should take the listener by surprise. So how to make money is so captivating that even if you are broke, you are broke, you don't have shishi in your account. When you hear how to make money, your ear will stand, worry. And then you'll be so interested in that particular topic. That's the first thing they made mention of. And so there was self-assessment. And number two that they talk about here specifically was that by calling attention to the main idea in the body of the lecture. So you hear some speakers say, let us go to the main point, the critical issue, the most important point, the first point, the second point, finally, right? They are calling the attention of the listener to what they are saying. So when your speaker talk, okay, the next point, the majority of them are listening to the next point. So they're like letting you know that, oh, the main idea, right? This is the main idea. These are the main idea. The next point, the second, and finally, by calling attention to the main idea in the body of the lecture or talk. So once they have started talking, of course, you know that, oh, this particular idea is the main idea. Number three, by constant repetition, of course, people likely tell you that, oh, this is it. I'm always saying this, that you need to read your book. You don't have to leave your book there behind. You have to make making money. Some of them will continue to repeat that sentence. They can use pointer like firstly, secondly. Those are the things that your course material is letting us know. Yeah. 4, by identifying the speech pattern of the speaker, right? So the way that which the speaker is talking will also naturally make you know that, oh, this person is talking about the main idea. This person is giving us an idea. Of course, they will give you graph illustrations. Some of them will prepare PowerPoint slides so that they can let you know that they are talking about something powerful. So I told you we're going to be rushing this lecture today. And all of these ones, they are not our issue. I will tell you where the issue is. But everything I just read now, you probably want to look at them again because, right? The reason is that now we'll definitely have to fill in the gap questions on them, and you wouldn't want to be caught off guard. Another thing that is in module 3 is listening for interpretation and critical analysis. Right, so now they want you to listen. They want you to be able to analyze. They want you to be able to give deeper meaning to what is being said. So when you look at that 3.1, so I need you to, if you have a book there with you, write down 3.1. This particular, I did it for some few persons when I was doing TME. It's a fill in the gap question, and it's always coming out. This listening for interpretation and critical analysis, that will definitely ask you, right? So interpretation is dash. They will likely ask you, right? Interpretation involves dash. Deriving meaning of what is being said or what is said. That's the answer. So now we'll probably put interpretation is deriving meaning of what is dash, or dash is deriving meaning from what is being said. That's interpretation. So the ability to interpret, right? The ability to link words together, link what is being said, utterances, to observe, right? To establish trends. Pattern analysis also involves ability to look at a particular word or listen to a word. Then you're able to decode the merit and the demerit, the advantages and disadvantages of what the person is saying. You try to weigh it. You look at the strength of what the person is saying, the weakness of what the person is saying. You place your own personal judgment. Say, for example, as of today, was it today that Two-Face apologized to everybody on X that sorry, he was saying that no woman is meant to be with one woman. That he apologized to Natasha, that's his girlfriend. A couple of Twitter people were saying that, oh, why did Two-Face apologize? I'm talking about critical analysis now. Why did he apologize? That he was being forced to say what he said, was being forced to make an apology. That in the video, it wasn't looking so. His apology wasn't looking so genuine. That one did not concern me. They were able to point out the weaknesses and the strength of what the guy was saying because they watched the video. They were able to analyze it. They placed their value. They don't have time. They have plenty of time. They were able to analyze what the guy said. They drew conclusion of what he was saying, right? They look at what his mood, his met. And you see, when people were listening at what Face was saying, I'm like, they shiny. Right? So critical analysis is when you listen to something, you're able to you can decode the demerit and the merits, the advantages and the disadvantages. You know that is this is not the answer. This is not it. That's what critical analysis is. So they are saying that when you listen and you're able to interpret, right, you're able to get deeper meanings to words. Another thing you want to do, according to what they've said, is that you want to get the advantages and disadvantages of what the person is saying. That's what now is saying here. All this BB grammar. That's what we are saying. All this BB grammar that we have here. That's basically everything we're saying. And so the next one, I thought I'm going to be rushing. All right. So then I said suggestion steps to follow in critical analysis. Of course, so when you listen to something, you should be able to interpret what the person is saying. And then you're looking at the merit and the demerit, the advantages and disadvantages, the pros and the cons, the things you need to do, things you don't need to do. So now listed a lot of things that you need to do. They said listen attentively and fully understand the speaker's point of view. Of course, this one, fill the gap questions, all of these ones, all of these parts. So where you have self-assessment, right? You listen, you pay attention, you write down notes, relevant points raised by the speaker, right? You read deeper meaning to what the speaker is saying. So, say for example, as the way Two-Face is saying something, Nigerians were able to read deeper meaning to what he's saying. We're just saying that, the first thing he said was that, every man is not meant to be with one woman. And then a lot of people got angry. They were like, what is he saying? Because he married two wives, right? Because he left Annie, right? So they were able to read deeper meaning to what he was saying. He wasn't even was just saying it casually. It was on a podcast. So it was like Baba was just talking. All right. So and people got angry. All right. So relate to what is with what you understand. So Nigerians were able to relate with what he was saying because they knew his background. They had that experience. That's my next point. Relate to what the speaker said with what you understand, right? Use your background knowledge, right? It can be your experience or any situation. That's what they were doing. Because okay, this guy already had a wife, then he had another one, but he had divorced the first one. So they know that this man was talking because of that his experience. Right. So in order to listen to be able to listen critically, so now I give us another thing. Now say listen and people listen attentively and fully understand what the person is saying. Right. Take down notes. Consider the strengths, and I've spoken about that. Use your own personal experience according to what the person is saying. No, in fact, Nigerians, when I wouldn't lie. So when he came back today, and it was today that he apologized to everyone, and Twitter people were attacking him that he wasn't the one that wanted to apologize, that somebody was forcing him. In my mind, I'm like, how did these people know that somebody actually forced this guy to apologize? But so when I went back to watch the video again, I realized that these people are not lying. Because the way he was in that video wasn't really looking happy, right? He was looking so forced. But that one is none of my business. Me, I have plenty things to do. I'm not, you get, that's their business. All right, so that's what critical analysis is. Whenever you're listening, now we're saying that when you listen to anything, ability to analyze it is very important. How do you do that? You listen attentively, right? You take down notes of what the person is saying, the key points or relevant points, right? You think deep into what this person is saying. So, for example, somebody's talking about breakup. Like if I maybe I go to any seminar, somebody's talking about breakup. I used to listen I like love, so I used to listen very well. And the person not telling me, somebody break your heart. Just find somebody else that you break the person's heart. I know that this person, what his person is teaching is this person has shop breakfast, go morning, afternoon, night, evening. He does a shop breakfast, they go. That's why he said he was saying it. He said it out of a place of hurt, right? Or a place of bitterness. When somebody said when somebody slap you, the Bible says you should bring your left ear. If they slap you at the right ear, just the third person to slap the left ear. In this normal world, if you slap at my right, and I not do anything to you, I'm a very gentle person. I'll just cross to the other side. I'll be going to my house. And the only thing I have in this life is mouth. And but I never see situation like that because I don't put myself in that moment. But pattern not happen. So for example, then you like slap me and Monole one here, I carry my bag. But if it to be some other person because they don't know how to fight, they want to prove seniority. Like something really happened to me today. Let me quickly explain. So I boarded the bus and I was telling the conductor. I started shouting from where I was. Guy, I give you 1,000. Give me my change. All right. So I was telling him I give 1,000. Give me my change. So I go to where I wanted to alight from the bus. I have I liked it. Baba was driving. I just told one Agboda, Egbo, and I used to call all of them Egbo. I used to greet them. So when I'm passing, they know me very well. Like, bro, I say, he's like, bro, how kilo you know? I said, Egbo, mo fún wọn ní 1K. And I was even doing one. Like, I supposed to collect 700 naira as my change. And then he left. You know, the Agbe was like, power up room, mama, calling lessons. And he carried, you know, the way, if you see the way he dragged the conductor, even me, you know what I did? I did not see that they are holding. You know what? I just carried my bag. Before you would not see me. I'm like, because of 700. And a pile. She gets. So I'm literally letting you know that you're not saying this. When you see something, people are reading deeper meanings to it. That's what we now wants us to have an idea of. Like when you say it, when you hear any tape or any lecture, you should be able to read deeper meanings to it. You should be able to. So that means just for our next point. I told you we're reading this as fast as we can because there are a lot of things we want to discuss this night, and we have a lot of activities to do. Then we'll now talk about reading. We're in Unit 3 now. Of course, we've spoken about reading. We talk about the importance of reading. You need to read facts. You need to read books. You need to read. Now, so I saw this in your TMA. Reading can also be for pleasure, right? Reading can also be for dash. Yeah, I saw that. And you need to cultivate the habit of reading anything. So you're not just reading for pleasure alone. You're reading to know. That's one of the issues we are having. And they specifically mentioned the fact that Nigerians naturally don't have interest in reading. And they are not lying. They're not really, really lying. So if you get a book today and you give Nigerians, I'll put Nigerians, read this book. Oh, this book is what that will help your life. Oh, if you have started reading day 1, day 2, you will be consistent. Day 3, they now announce where they want to play football. Ronaldo, Messi, you have dropped the book, yo. You have dropped it. Now, so the attention lifespan of Nigerians is really, really short, especially when those people that naturally have social media. That's why when you see people who are rich, some of them will tell you that I don't used to, some of them tell you that I don't come to social media. I never remember the time that I've been on Instagram. I have people who always managing my accounts. That's true because they have people managing their accounts. They have social media managers because they cannot allow you to come and keep them. Right? So they're saying that this part is definitely come at your feeling have questions. You might probably want to pay attention to them, right? The fact that you need to read for pleasure. At the same time, read well, read all books, create that ability to read, build that tenacity to read. That's what we are literally saying, right? Build that motivation to read. Honest, we're moving to the next. Actually, we're going to be very, very fast. And now give us reasons why we need to read. Now he's saying that how to read effectively, right? The first is determine the purpose of reading a book, article, newspaper, or any other reading material. So the purpose is very important. Why should you read? Why do you want to read? Why should I read? So the only thing that I think we naturally have passion for in this Nigeria is reading for exam. Hey, do you know why we are reading for exam? Some of us are reading for exam because we have paid school fees and we know how we got the school fees. You'll be like, I cannot come and fail because the way I got the school fees, I tried everything I could. I went to even borrow money. They want to carry me like, do you get? You're reading because you paid money for school fees and you don't want your money to go to waste. But the main issue, why should you read to gather knowledge, to know? And it's important that you read. So now he's saying that, you need to have a purpose for reading. A lot of people are calling me this night. And you're more GST today, I'm coming. Right? Now he's saying that you need to have a purpose for reading. And the first thing they said, find some information quickly. So when you're reading, they're saying find some information when you're reading, right? Understand, to answer a question, to understand the difficult ideas, right? To find the meaning. That's the major reason why you're reading, all the purpose. To study a concept, to gain general knowledge or overview of a particular course, right? That's what I'm saying. You're reading for pleasure or entertainment. Now, I naturally don't blame people who read novels, but I have like an unbiased should I say impression about those that read novels. What I think will happen to you when you read a particular thing, as time goes on, it becomes part of you. And now, so when it comes to novel, now those ladies, when you get them talk about love, their own love mindset is different from our own. You know why? Because their own, they are living in that fairy land. There's a prince somewhere. Chicken, especially when they are reading all this novel that has to do with prince. One day a prince is coming to marry me. He will have us. I will be in a castle. He will reach us, but so the majority of them are not having that mindset of going with a man or like building life together with a man, whether it's poor, whether it's rich. So to me, I kind of feel like, oh, they have been shaped in a particular way. Those of them, they have been shaped in it. And some of them, they're not ready to learn baby grammar. They just want to know that concept. And, you know what novels does to people now. For those of you reading it, better repent to the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Shea Yari. All right. So we've spoken about those things. Now I made mention of reading speed. Now it's saying that your reading speed varies according to the purpose of reading. For example, if you want to locate a particular information in a particular publication, you read faster. But if you want to read to understand, you read slowly. That's what I'm saying. You read slowly. You read slowly. And the next thing is decide what to read. That's one of the issues that a lot of people are always having. So whatever I want to read, right? I pick my reading, how should I say, my reading passion based on what I'm going through. If I am hungry, maybe me. But Sapa want to do me. As I look reading, looking for book or not to make money. It's not money usual. So if you come and say I want to do more, I'm not doing usual. Egg me. Yeah, yari. So like it depends. So if I need like knowledge, maybe I want to lead some certain set of people, or I want to I want to motivate people. I read books on how to inspire others, and I'm being sincere, right? So if I want to maybe have a meeting, I have a board meeting with any head of department, any VC of any school. Maybe I'm probably going to last to have a conference or anything. I read beforehand just to have an idea. So when the man is talking, like the professor, the dean is talking. Last was in Azab shit in 1990, sir, the department of Guinea. Like because you are well informed, you know what you're saying, you know what you're doing, right? So there's a way you have there's that pride when you know what you're doing, right? You have that pride that this is it, this is what you're saying. So now we're saying that brings us to our next point. Now it's saying that you decide what to read. You can read anything, but just have that decision. Okay, if today I'm reading a novel, today I'm studying my Bible, today I'm doing my course materials, right? Now another thing is read to get overview of what is to be read. So before you read, you need to just look at the entire passage and you get the relevant information of what you wanted to read about, right? So if when it comes to reading about self-motivation, fulfillment, purpose, how to create goals, how to follow one goals, how to get people, how to live purpose and likes. So you can pick out books, then pick out what really matters to you in those books, how they are able to relate with you. That's what we're literally saying. An overview, have an idea of what the entire book is saying. So when you want to read, that is how to read. How to read effectively, according to what we have here. The fourth question is ask yourself specific questions connected with the materials, right? Ask yourself specific questions connected with the materials. So, for example, a lot of you are having issues with, you don't know how to read to understand. There are books on how to read to understand, and I'm being sincere about this. Now, so if you're having that issues, you might probably want to go online. You should just I told you, Google Scholar. Google Scholar is so sweet. Search for Google Scholar. Just click on Google Scholar. When you've gotten there, there's a particular search link you put there. Just write how to read and understand. Right? Get that material. Then ask yourself some questions once you've read the book. Okay, so now that I've read this book, how has it been for me? Right? Can I read to understand now? What are the things do I need to do so that I can read to understand next time? What are the things that I need to do so that my reading can be better? Right? So that is it. What else again? I'm going to be very, very fast this time because we have a lot of things to cover. So that's how to read effectively. When we're looking at skimming and scanning, that's the next one, Unit 4. We've spoken about this. Of course, the last time we had the conversation, we said, when you are skimming, right, you're skimming to understand or to know, to have full idea of a particular passage, right? You want to go into details. You want to know what the passage is about, not the entire book, right? Let's say, for example, you have like the way you have your course material and then you focus on Unit 1. Right, you're skimming. You want to know what Unit 1 is about. You want to know how Unit 1 is. In that Unit 1, you're not picking out specific information one by one. Of course, you have Unit 1, you have relevant information like all those compression that we did not send them to put there. They are just there, right? But you want to pick out the ones that are, relevant. That's what skimming is about. And then so now say something. This particular part is always coming out in your clinical questions, especially the skimming. Now we're saying that the slow speed, right, varies. They talk about the slow speed. They talk about the average reading speed, right? That you're reading at a slow speed just to have an idea of a particular thing, just to get details, right? You're reading. And the next reading speed is called the average reading speed. This one, you're using it to read, to find important clues of a particular document or textbook, right? That's it. And the last reading skill is called skimming. This one, you're so what the course material is literally letting you know that when you read slow, it's skimming. When you read fast, it's scanning. Right? Scan is you're looking for information. When you scan, you're looking for a particular, let's say, location, the date, name of the person, the date, anything relating to that particular course. That's what your textbook. And the next one is scanning. Right? So this time around, you're looking for specific information. That's how you're reading. So for example, what can I? It's not your TMA. Okay, you guys are not included on that. So I wanted to talk about GST3. So when we got the proposal for GST3, I want to explain scanning. So in that GST3, what we literally did for the first time was we scan. We actually looked for the questions that they asked us, and the next thing we were doing was looking for the answers to those questions. Before we now came back to do skimming, we read it word for word. When I explained to everyone in the group that, oh, this is it, oh, this is the answer to this one. Oh. For those of you that will be writing a proposal yourself, this is the answer to this one. This is what you need to do when you see this one next time, right? So that is it for that. Now, this brings me to my next question. I'm going to be asking you. I told you that as we sojourn, there will be questions for all of us. So I'm going to place the question in the group. It's in your course material. Also, without to read it out. Now, locating details in a bulletin, is it skimming or scanning? Now, skimming, let me explain again. It's when we read it slowly, right? We need to understand skimming, to understand what that particular book is about. We in fact, we are intentional about finding the real details about the book. But scanning, we read fast, just to locate dates, information, short information, right? So unmute your mic, right? We're doing it fastly. We're doing it the fast way. I need you to request for mic. Let's be really, really fast about this. Let's be really, really fast about it. It's going to be very, very fast. All right. Locating dates in a bulletin. Is this skimming or scanning?
Scanning.
All right. Determining whether the article favors our political party. Skimming or scanning?
Scanning.
Okay.
I think it's skimming.
When you determine whether a particular article favors your political party, whether a particular article, you are not looking for anything now, you are determining whether a particular article favors a political party.
It's
skimming or scanning?
Skimming.
Getting specific percentage for a particular import/export exchange rate. Skimming or scanning?
Scanning, that's
Locating the names of lecturers in the department from the school prospectus.
scanning.
Looking for the telephone and email number of the company. Oluwa.
Scanning.
Relevant edits and subheadings of research paper.
Scanning.
Locating, listen. Locating relevant headings and subheadings of the research paper.
Skimming.
Explaining the overall reaction of the writer of the government policy is what?
Skimming.
Come again.
The reaction of the writer to the government policy.
Skimming.
Understand? You will not understand the person's feelings or information. It's skim. You are skimming. You are skimming. It's skimming. Right. Locating a specific information on the grade of the student. Skimming or scanning?
Scanning.
All right. So now that you've seen that all of these things are very, very simple, you might probably have that. So when you are reading something to understand it, is skim. But when you are reading just to get small information, specific information, right? Is scanning. For informations like subheadings, headings, or a paper, you will skim. You will not scan because you will take your time to read it. You need to be able to identify what the headings are, what the subheadings are. And research paper, they're always long, right? They're always long. You need to what? Skim, not scan. All right, so we'll move on to the next one. We're going to be very, very fast this night. Going to be very, very fast. Some of these things are not relevant. So we're looking at reading at the fastest speed. Reading at the fastest speed. In this particular context, now it's telling us that reading, skimming, and scanning are regarded at the fastest speed. And I understand them. Sincerely, I do. Now we say that reading, no, skimming and scanning. You know, when you read a particular book, the first thing you first do, you first scan. You read the first part, just to have an idea. That's scanning. So when I come back to have the main idea, to understand how everything is related, how words are in synchronization, you are skimming. Now it's not saying that reading and skimming and scanning at the same time together is the fastest reading speed. According to Edward Fry, if you want to remember this one, just remember fried plantain, fried dodo, fried chicken. Say I am anything fried food. Think of any beautiful food in your head. That's the way I used to understand this Edward Fry. But that according to Edward Fry plantain. Right. Jenna said a good reader achieves 50% comprehension while skimming and scanning. More than 800 words. This one is always coming out. Always. Even TMA brought it. So you want to be a good reader. So they're saying that. So when that reader is reading, 50% comprehension. What I mean by 50% comprehension is that he will be able to understand 50% of what he has read or what he's reading. And at the same time, he will be able to read 800 words per minute. I'm hearing some feedback. Father Lord. Father. So he'll be able to understand 800 words per minute. A good reader when he's reading. 50%. Put it in your mind. 50% of what the person is reading. And then the person will be able to understand 800 words. So while I'm reading per minute, okay, I'm like, in the units we are that's where a good reader is. I'm reading and skimming. I'm skimming. Now, when you're reading at this particular speed, this is what will happen to you. You will be skimming at the same time be scanning. So if I start in the last unit, I will know what will be in my next paragraph. My eye should be able to pick what should be my next 2 paragraphs, my next 3 paragraphs, if I'm reading like that. So I can cover 800 words per minute because and I can understand 50% of what I'm reading. Remember, they did not say all. They said 50% of what the person is reading. So please put this in mind, though. Put this in mind. So the next one, yeah, somebody was saying something. Okay, I think it was this particular part that it's not this part because I have some questions for this particular part. So that's what they said there. Now, reading at an average, we've spoken about the fastest reading speed. That's the first one we spoke about. We're now talking about reading at an average speed. Reading at an average speed. Now, the fastest reading speed is the conjunction of skimming and scanning, don't forget. And then you're reading 50% comprehension, 800 words per minute. Now, we're not talking about the average reading speed. Average. PR. You don't know how to read last one, but you're an average person. Now we're saying that this one, your own issue is that you'll be able to understand, you'll be able to read 250 to 100 words per minute. I'm still hearing some background noise. Please mute your mic. That's important, right? So now I'm saying that for this particular one, you'll be able to, your eyes can see or can pick 250 to 500 words per minute for 70% comprehension, right? Before you can understand 70% of what you are reading, your eyes, for this, if you're an average reader, how will you know if you're an average reader? If you are somebody that cannot read fast, if you don't know how to read fast, you don't know how to know what, when you're reading, you cannot pick out what is in your next word. You're an average reader. You're an average reader, right? Your eyes can only see 250 to 500 words per minute when you are reading. And before your eyes can see that 250 to 500, you would have, what it would result into is 70% comprehension. It means that when you are reading to 250 to 500 words, you are understanding 70% of what you are reading, compared to somebody who is reading 800 at 50%. I don't want to confuse us, rather. So that's what they are saying. So your course material went for that. They said if you are reading 300 words per minute, you'll be able to understand 30 to 40% of what you're reading. That's what they are saying. I think the last reading speed is a poor reader. I saw it one time like that, and I had a very terrible experience of those who read in a slow way. I've once attended a church like that. Well, this particular church, we have old people in the church. When they start reading like that, especially when they are reading Bible. When that woman have started reading Bible like that, we will sleep there. She will take one word, one by one. The first exercise that must be done when mommy wa, ejaka, let us read it. We are going, there are people like that. So the next word is reading at a study speed level. Don't forget there's the fastest reading speed, right? There's an average reading speed. They're not the last one, study speed level. Right, so this one, they're saying that you need to read to understand. You need to understand what you're reading. But then, before you read to understand and understand what you're reading, the first thing you need to do is what? Note making from books. Note making from books. So when you read, you take notes from lectures. We've spoken about testing. When you're taking notes from when you are writing what you're listening to, it's note taking. But now you're making a note. If you want to read to understand, you're making a note. You are writing down as you are reading. We've entered reading now. As you're reading, you're writing them down. As you're reading, you're writing them down. So first thing now is saying that you must understand what the lecture or the textbook is saying before you start writing your notes. We've spoken about this yesterday. They also brought it. Like ability to understand what they are saying. That's what I say. That's what I say. So when you're reading, let's say, you're reading a book on how to be self-confident and not be a confident person, right? The first thing to be, according to books now, first thing you need to do when you want to talk how to have confidence when talking to people. First thing you want to do is compliment people. If you're reading books like that, right, you see, compliment people and look people in their eyes. Look people, have an eye contact with people. Now, if somebody like you, that naturally you cannot even stand in front of crowd, you don't know how to talk to people, you don't know how to face people. Right? So when you're reading books like that, first thing that now is saying that understand what the book is talking about. Okay, fine. You want to be a confident person. You want to build that confidence in yourself. You want to be able to talk to people. You want to be able to relate to people, right? So pay attention to the headings and the subheadings of the textbook or the lecture. So they are saying that, say for example, you've carried the book and the first heading is make eye contact, right? Under the eye contact, you'll be like, make eye contact, check people, and compliment people. So one first thing, when you meet people, you look at them in their eyeballs and tell them, you're looking good, you have a beautiful smile, your gown is beautiful, your heart is beautiful. Oh, I love that about you. That's book. That's what now I say. Like, understand what you're reading in that particular book. And at the same time, pay attention to all the headings. The next thing now is saying is that look for signs or signal in the textbook. Important key points that you can write down. Firstly, secondly, importantly, perhaps, moreover, furthermore, those things, they are like pointers to the important part of that book. That's what now I say. Now, so that's not saying that once you've noticed that they are there, write them out. Right? Write them out, jot down your points, select as you write down the points, the words, the phrase, the information. That's what now is saying. Write them out. And at the same time, show connection between previous points in all of these things. The connection, the, the way they underline the words, the way they use the sign, the symbols, how they arrange the text. But this is under reading. All of this is there. For this particular one, I will not give you what is reading, how to do this. No, now we'll give you comprehension. Please wait for comprehension tomorrow. Right? There are comprehension passages that they're very short that I would likely give you. So how do you do them really matters. So we'll get to that lexical familiarization very, very soon. That's what I'm really, really rushing so that we can discuss that and do this essay and leave here. All right, so practice. Okay, yes, I think we need to take it, but this part is always coming out. Now, in a slow study type reading, right, ensure that you read at least 200 to 3 words per minute. So people are really, really slow when it comes to reading. Now it's saying that they need to read between 200 to 300 words per minute, right? And their comprehension is between 90 to 100. So you need to understand that particular part. Then I said for a poor reader to achieve comprehension, you need to read at the rate of 80 to 90. You need to read that. You need to read. His reading speed should be as low as 60 to 120 per minute. So if a normal reader that is very slow, that is reading 200 to 300 words, somebody that is very, very poor at all, the reading rate that is reading is between 60 to 120 words. No, I told you now, when somebody is reading, read the passage on doing the groundwork and blah, blah. You yourself, you want to sleep because the person is not reading steadily, right? You feel like sleeping, but what are you reading? It means that the person is a poor. So the thing that you want to take note of it when you do, even if you don't know anything at all, with everything that I've just said now, a slow reader, right? Read between 200 to 300 words per minute, right? A poor reader, read between 60 to 120 words per minute, right? Those are the key things you need to hold. These are all these baby grammar that we have. Those are the things you need to hold. Those are the things you need to hold. We're moving on, we're moving on, we're moving on. We're moving on to reading for vocabulary development. This one, a lot of you might not be happy what you will see for this one. Let me tell you. Because National Open University wants you guys to build vocabulary. So they will bring in questions that have BB grammar. You know the BB grammar that I've been accusing people of doing. They will not bring it. And it's really, 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 really pain some of you because majority of you are not familiar with some of those words that now will bring. So, I've told you that first thing when you see questions that you don't know, where they ask you to tell us now might probably tell you, wait, tell us the meaning of the word that is nearest in meaning to garrulous. Garrulous is when somebody talks too much. Right. They'll not tell us the word. Hey. So when you see that, you first pick out your two options that is not even part of the answer at all. There are two crazy options. Inside 4 options, they're normally. We call them normally. That pick them out, remove them. But the other two, right? Within those two, look at it carefully. I did not say waste time on it. Though. Pick the one that you know is relating to the answer. How will you know? Remove garrulous from your sentence. Put the other word there. Whether I know how to pronounce it or not. Try to see if it sounds well. If it sounds well, okay, carry it. Right? But be very, very sure. That's why you need to work with the Spirit of God so that you not fail. Right? So when it comes to vocabulary development, what they're saying is that you know what, you need to increase your vocabulary development as you read. We've entered into reading. Now, reading helps you to develop vocabularies. So then they give you guys list of, look at your course material. We're doing this together now. We're doing this. I love this. So this is where we're coming to. Please request for Michael. Request for Mike. Some of you have started opening dictionary. They said the man was sure of his acuity. Is it bitterness? Is it dishonest? Is it skillfulness? So the man was sure of his acuity. Is it bitterness? How can somebody be sure of his bitterness? Remove that one from the option. Let me paste the answer. Let me paste the question so that you know what I am saying. Come, let me paste it.
Please, I am lost. Where are you, ma? Please, I can't get the place you are reading.
I'm in page 150. I'm reading fast. I'm in page 150.
Okay, thank you.
I'm in page 150. I'm in page 150. I'm coming. Let me paste the question. Oh, I've seen a couple of messages. Oluwa, shall calm down. All right. I'm coming. Let me quickly paste that. So I'm in page 150. That's that. There are baby grammar that somebody might not even know how to pronounce. Prosperous. Hey, features. Provocative. Whoa, we are learning grammar today. Their father. Check page 150, everybody. Hey, they will come and carry us here.
I've seen it, Sam. I've seen it, ma. I've seen it.
We are learning. We are learning. It's okpo. It's a very important thing that I want to learn. We're learning big grammar, That's what we're learning. All right, so the first one, according to what you're saying there, I said the man was sure of his security. Now I ask you to pick. First, read the first thing you want to do. Read the instruction. They said choose the alternative. You think this one will definitely come out. This has been coming out over the years. In fact, you might see plenty of this question instead of filling the gap question. I'm being sincere for this one. Choose the alternative. Keep the meaning of the underlying word and fit in the context. I said fit in the context. It means that even if it gives the meaning, does it relate to what the particular sentence is talking about? You want to choose the one that is relating to it. That's what they are literally saying. That's what they are saying. Any other thing, they know the real word. So we're doing it together. We're doing it together. So, Mr. Mike, what is my answer for number one? If that's still number one, what's my answer for? Can you guys see it at all? Can you guys hear me? Can you all hear me? I want to say.
Sorry, ma, please, where are you pasting it? Because I think I'm lost here.
Okay, so all of you open your course material to page 155, 150 rather, page 150. That's where I am, page 150. The group, I've sent the questions to the group. I hope you guys can see the question. All right, so I think I've helped you guys. I've sent that to the group. You can hardly, no, I think, can you see the group? Can you guys see the group? So they said we need to pick the alternative of this word. Alternative is the word that's closer in meaning to the word that they highlighted. Highlighted in column. When I mean they highlight the word, it means that they both the word. The word is it has that darker color. That in case you see it in the exam, they have highlighted that text, underlined word, like a straight through. So when you see questions like this in the exam, I'll do number one, right? Please check the group or check the Telegram channel. I just posted that. So I'm going to do number
What?
one. So even if you don't know the answer, if I see question like
What?
this, I don't know the answer, I don't stress myself. Okay.
What is
When I see
accuracy?
okay, we are not looking for the meaning now. Calm down. We were looking for how to answer the question when we see. I'll tell you the meaning later once we find it. Right now. So the man was sure of his activity. A keenness, right? Bitterness, dishonesty, right? Then you have the skillfulness. Now, so when you look at this, you have four options. First, remove bitterness from your as that one cannot be your answer. Somebody cannot be sure of bitterness. Right? Somebody cannot be sure of his dishonesty against oneself.
Skillfulness.
Right? So you have keenness and skillfulness. So what is my answer? Which of this is my answer? Which of this is my answer? You can check your dictionary. We have to check dictionary now so that we can know what if they bring this type of question. You will be able to attempt it. You'll be able
Skillfulness.
to that's my answer.
Skillfulness.
That's my answer. That's my answer. So
Skillfulness.
the next
Skillfulness.
one. I knew. You have told me before, but it's giving us. I knew. Thank you. All right. So the next one, he calls the boy a mere freaker, shatter, waste bag, foolish talker, unju, ungu. Ah, that can be so. So what's my answer?
Foolish talker.
Hmm? What's my answer?
Yeah, I would say foolish talker because it kind of just rhymes with
Foolish
what
talker.
it rhymes with the word.
But when you look at it, which of the
Waste.
which what is my first two? Which first two should I first remove from it before I pick my answer? That's what me I want you to get. It's not even the answer. It's the action before the answer. That's my job. That's my job. So when you look at it carefully, even your course material is saying it wrong, but the text is saying that it calls the boy a name, shelter, fatter, waste basket, as foolish talker, and bongo. Your course material is in bongo. That's the answer. Then you now ask yourself, what is freeter as what is bongo? Right. So they're saying that freeter is when you carry out a task in a clumsy or incompetent way. So if you call the boy a next freeter, the next word that is in line to the meaning is bongo. So which basket is out of it? You cannot call somebody which basket. Foolish talker. Yeah, talker is closer, but shelter you don't know the meaning. So this particular word, you need to be very, very careful when you're answering them. That's why I brought them up. We might not do up to the 10, but we can do 5 and move on. Number 4, number 3. This day,
Number three.
all talk of a defensive nuclear war is preposterous, since nobody is going to survive it. A, unreasonable. B, coincidental. C, realistic. D, wasteful. What's my answer?
Yes.
Preposterous.
Then
There are simple English preposterous, rather. There are simple English that we can flow with our everyday life. Oh. We see more grammar than this. So it's better we start the beginning of this year.
I'll go for wasteful
Wasteful.
coincidental.
Unreasonable.
of the sense in future. Wasteful, I'll go with.
Mm.
Wasteful.
Mm. Because your cost material choose wasteful, do you think wasteful is the answer? Do you think wasteful is the answer? So we need to ask ourselves, what is the meaning of preposterous? Something that is absurd. It means something that is really absurd. But now I want you to understand what I'm trying to do. When you look at it carefully, the answer is supposed to be unreasonable. But there's a clause here. When you go back to the instruction, now I said the one that best gives the meaning of this underlying word that fits into the context, right? So the word is preposterous, the word is wasteful. So nobody is going to survive it. So to me, I feel like they made a mistake, right? The answer is unreasonable. It's unreasonable. So what's the meaning of preposterous? Preposterous means something that is contrary to nature, something that is that is absurd, something that is like foolish, something that is not, it's not sensible. See, the answer is unreasonable. He said the answer is unreasonable. When you look at it, the answer is unreasonable. It's not wasteful. Not wasteful. Not wasteful. It's not wasteful. All right, so number 4, politicians are often cautioned to avoid making provocative statements. Is it talkative, inciting, contradicting, persuasive? What's my answer? Provocative. What's my answer? What's my answer? Okay, yeah. What's my answer? Provocative statement. What is my answer? Okay, so whether you get it or not, you just have to talk. Provocative
Insight.
statement. Inciting. So when I read course material like this, I literally ask myself, what is inciting? Right? I have to meet Manuela. I think Manuela is the one talking. All right, so if you are here, kindly mute your mic. We love you. It's important that you mute your mic, but we still love you. So when it's time for you to talk, please, once we've given you permission to talk and communicate with us, it's important that you mute your mic once you're done, so that your noise will not be affecting those that will listen to the recording later. It's already really nice. So people can come and swear for you. Right, inciting. That's my answer. So the last one we're doing now, before we move on, number 5. Number 5 is the last one, and that says Bola invariably good assignments but procrastinates a lot. A delays, tells lies, argues, try to persuade. Invariably. What's my answer?
Delays.
Delays.
Are we sure?
Delays.
Are we sure?
Yes. Yeah, delays. Yeah.
Yes.
Popo. See that we're not supposed to do this exam at all. Because we have passed already. At the pass though, now we don't want to do GST101. Sincerely. All right, so that is all for that particular part. There's a part where we talk about stories. So I'm looking for that part. So I'm going to be rushing. So I'll be telling you the page and chapter at which I am, so that you can know what I'm reading. Because some of these things, if you look at the course material, they are not. We did not send them message. We did not send them message. Now, there's something we call lexical familiarization. Lexical familiarization. Lexical familiarization. It's important that you understand a particular passage, right? It's important at the same time. It's also important that you're able to relate what the passage is saying, right? So when it comes to this lexical familiarization, whenever you say questions like pick the word that is near a meaning to a word, pick the word that is opposite in meaning to a word, try to find a word that one can use to replace another word. We are literally talking about lexical familiarization. We are saying this. We are saying that if you are reading a particular book and the person is using BB grammar, as we have seen so far, the next word, right, that can give you an idea of the difficult word is what we call lexical familiarization. If I'm saying, oh, the guy is garrulous, I'm saying the guy is talkative. Talkative is my lexical familiarization. It gives me clue. It makes me understand new words or difficult words easily. As we've spoken about this preposterous, right? We've spoken about it today. We understand the next word to it. That is unreasonable. It's not wasteful. Right? As creative, we know that it's skillfulness. That's what we call lexical familiarization, ability to see word, right? And then find a word that you can use to replace a simple word though, that you can use to replace it. That's what lexical familiarization is about. The other thing that we have here in your course material. So this course material is just understanding all these things you have here. And another thing that can provide you an idea into this lexical familiarization is when you have your dictionary with you. look for the word, the various words as which they have been arranged, the context. Right? Look at the sentence. When you look at the idioms of the word, because some of the words have idioms, so right, the things that they derive from them, the meanings. So I'm going to give us 5. Okay, I think there's 5 daily words that we use that I think we need to have lexical familiarization with. Let me share that in the group. We'll discuss it now. We'll look for simple words to it. The major reason why I'm doing this, I'll tell you why I'm doing what I'm doing. A lot of people are calling me father. Check the group. So when you see a word that has dry, who can tell me another word for dry? You are free to use your phone to browse so that the lesson will be sweet. Hey, I use your phone to browse. I've sent those words. They are just 5 words: drive, fatigue, generosity, cautious, and hostile. Right. I see. So if I say the land is dry, the land is dry. It depends on the context. So please, if I say the land is dry, so I'm not saying that the land is dry, like dry. People me. It does not have water. No, I'm saying the land is dry. The land plants, they are not growing. Everything is not working well. So what other word can I use to say this? You have to use your phone.
When it's bare.
Sorry,
Beer.
please, can I ask you a question?
Ask, please.
Okay, what you're saying now, is it the same thing as synonyms?
Yes. Yes, the same thing as synonyms, but now it's calling lexical familiarization. Yes,
Okay.
yeah, it is the
Okay,
same
thank
thing as
you.
synonyms, but now it's saying is that, but now not now not call it synonyms in your exam. Now just tell you to find the word that is meaning to a particular word in the same context. So if I say the land is dry, I'm not saying that there's no water on the land. I'm saying that when you plant something on that particular land, it's not bring fruit. The land is what? Fruitless. Do you get? So, but if I say the land is dry and I meant that there's no water on the land is arid, ARID. That's like another word for it. So it's important that now we're saying that before you pick this word, when you see them in your exam, understand where they stand in a particular sentence. So if I say Kunle is a very generous man, what is another word for? Let's take it one by one. Fatigue. If I see somebody that lady is showing signs of fatigue, what's the meaning? What's the meaning? When somebody shows signs of fatigue, what's the meaning? What can we call it?
Tiredness. Tiredness.
Sadness.
How much do my work? We are not doing GST101 again. Now we're not doing again. We have no book. We that have scored 77 by 70. Maybe tomorrow morning we're having the exam. We are not doing it. Put them. If we saw the video I did today, we are not doing this exam. As him away. It's fatigue, yo. Tiredness. Right? She's tired. She's tired. So if I say Toby is generous, right? Or it shows generosity. What is the near word? What is the word that I can say that is in synonyms to generosity? And I say somebody is generous. He's so generous.
Kind.
You can use your phone. Use your phone. So that when you use eyes to see the answer, if it comes out, you know what what's the next word?
What about kind?
The person is kind or the person is a giver. A cheerful giver.
That's it. Leave them. Yeah, the road. Yeah. You see, I love the way the question is coming. Like, you guys are hitting me. All right, cautious. Let's for the next word. Cautious. If I see somebody is cautious, please be very
I
cautious.
I think he's careful.
Be
Someone that is
careful.
The person is careful.
We are not doing this yet, one. Don't you have to pass here? We have no book. Hope more. So the last one, hostile. So see, that dog is hostile. What does it mean?
Person is harsh.
or
Person
harsh.
is harsh or
Ash or what? I want you to give me tomorrow so that when you remember why you maybe to remind.
Aggressive.
aggressive. You can say aggressive too. Or the person is
Oh,
Osha Burusha.
Rude.
Osha wicked. The
the
person
person
is
is Osha.
wicked. Because the
The
person is
person is
wicked.
Osha Buru. That's what you will see. Man, I'm not. I like violence. Shall write the person is Osha Burusha. Me, I had that one. It cannot fly in my
unfriendly.
head.
I'm very wicked now. The person is wicked.
Irony, the person
Unfriendly.
is Osha Burusha. Igbo people write Osha Buru. All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Moving on. We're moving on. We're moving on. Thank you. Thank you for that. Now, if you don't have those words, you might probably want to write them down. Who knows? You might see them in your exam. No. Right. So we're talking about the next thing we're talking about. This particular part, we're not going to treat it, but we're going to. I'm going to explain what it means. Vocabulary, various academic contexts. So now it's letting you guys know that there are various words that are associated to any field at all, whether it's education, whether it's medicine, whether it's law. That's what now he's saying. Now he's saying that, oh, there are words that are associated to even medicine, to lawyers, to any legal words. Music to have their own words. So you have vocabulary, you have arpeggio, you have education, you have academic, you have registrar, you have ICT department, you have the porters, especially now you have the ULS, those kind of words that are associated with a particular field. That's what now he's saying there on this vocabulary. So when you read it extensively, you realize that some fields are there that now is really, really concerned about. I now gave you guys registry for education, for medicine, and some other things that you can find there. However, there's a but. There's a but, especially when you're reading this part. You need to understand this. Now is that you should not you shouldn't say that because you saw them and you know them. We are still under finding the nearest word in meaning, but now it's giving you an in-depth into understanding of this. Now for all of this BB grammar, all this that you're seeing here, all these things. I mean, page 175. For all these things that you're seeing here, especially page 175, now you're saying that you would definitely find words that we use every day. We call them the common core words. But those everyday words are for some specific field. Say, for example, if I'm talking about reading, reading is for education. I hope you know. If I'm talking about studying is for education, but then we use it every day. If I'm talking about assessment is for intelligence, under the field of intelligence, but then we know that we use it every time. So if I'm talking about sue, we know that one is lawyer. I don't use them because I cannot be suing you. Me, you always have sue. They are hearing. So for medicine, because we don't use that every day, but that's related to medical field or paramedical fields, right? So that's what now is literally saying here. So you might probably want to take your time to look at this word because now
Is it only me? I'm not hearing anything again. Oh.
Looks
I think
like
it's
network disconnected her.
so
Okay.
I'm really sorry. A call came in. A call came in. So now we're saying that all of these vocabularies that item associated with education, with law, everything is under finding the words, right? That is nearest meaning to a particular word. Or you will find this when you are, especially when you have exam tomorrow. Now we'll say split this word or put this word under the registry. So if you're seeing anything that has to do with medicine, you know that is under what? Medical fields or paramedical field. If you see anything law, put it under law field. If you see anything related to education, like book, studies, reading, that's under education field. So questions will arise from this. Question will definitely come out from all of these things. But questions that might likely come out is now tell you to put the word under their field. That's what you might probably see. There's a dash and dash and dash. And you just be very, very careful when you're answering this particular question. We're moving on to the next one. Now it's talking about art too. What's associated with art, accounting, natural science. Those ones you find them your objective. This one might not be your filling the gap questions. That will definitely be under your objective. Of course, pick out the two that are not part of it, then fight with the other two. That's what we are literally saying. But moving on to the next word. Yes, this one. Every year. Now is always bringing this. And now is always bringing confusion when they are bringing this particular one. I'm currently in module 4. I'm in page 190. Page 190, module 4. Now it's always, in fact, this one, a lot of people can fail it. A lot of students have been failing it over the years because they are not understanding the pattern. And it's not a lie, oh. They are not understanding pattern, oh. God help us. But we'll trash it out this time. We'll do it together. Let me get what I'm calling. Now, so we'll read carefully because majority of your questions will likely come out from this. When we did TMA, some of you know, now give us some comprehensions. Now told us that, okay, so this comprehension, are there narrative essay? Are there expository text? Which of these texts? Is it descriptive text? Are there argumentative text? So there are things that you need to carefully figure out yourself. Now, so we're looking at narrative text. The first thing we're looking at is narrative text. We might probably stop here for this night, but it's important that we do this because you'll likely be seeing this in your exam tomorrow. Every year, we don't usually miss this part for our exam, this particular part, because we know that you guys need to have an idea. For those of you in mass comm, of course, you need to know this one because you'll be writing feature article in 300 level, and you cannot come and be shalaye back there. All right, so we have narrative text. They are saying that they are texts that are common to people because they are full of stories. Right? They can tell a sad story. They can tell a happy story. Right? They are written in form of novels. Some of them are, those ones that are long, they are called long stories. Those ones that are short, they are called short stories. Now, from this narrative text, that's where they derive your themes. I hope you know. Like all these films, like all this Moremi, the Courageous Queen, which other film? Anikulapo. They are, amazing films, Seven Doors, I'll be Seven Clinic. Those films, they are gotten from this text. They are gotten from it, right? They are narrative texts. They can tell stories. The story about Hunter and this one that I told you yesterday is narrative text, right? They can tell stories. Now, there are characteristics of all of these things. The first one is a narrative text, right? Is written in informal style. This one is always coming out. Oh, informal style. It's always coming. Now, at narrative text, they are written in dash. It's always put style low. You see that the style is small letter. Put it there. If you see it, if you jam this question, put it there. Narrative text is written in informal style. Informal style is conversational style. This particular word, soliloquies, well, go and learn how to pronounce that one in your house. Because
Please come
I've been learning
again.
this morning.
Please come again. The network is
Okay,
breaking.
let me come again. Narrative text, right? They are written in informal style. Those ones will always come out in your exam. Right? Now, the narrative texts are written in that, right? Informal. It's
Written
not
in
informal
informal.
alone. Informal style. Informals are styles that has to do with making use of slang. Words that are not formal. Say, for example, if I want you to help me in a formal way, I'll be like, please kindly give me that cup.
Okay.
But informal style, conversational style. Okay, carry the cup. Wait till the cup. Did you get?
Yes.
Give me the cup. Right? Those are like conversational style, informal style. That's what narrative texts are. So when you look at your stories are not always written. Well, there are stories that are formal. I'm not going to lie. There are stories that requires formal text. Story that has to do with somebody being a lawyer. Of course, a lawyer cannot be speaking bad English. Cannot be using normal everyday English. They'll be using lawyer terms, right? Law terms, right? So, but all stories that you see here, all this narrative text, or if I'm explaining, for example, I went to the beach, from there, carry myself, that's narrative text. Informal style, just informal, right? That's what they are saying. Everything that you do, you're not talking in a formal way. Formal way is when you are in the office, you are talking You're talking with big grammar. You're talking with using big words. Right? Please, can you help me do that? If you're on the road, like, excuse me, I want to pass. You're obstructing the way. That's formal. Oga, you dey stay different words, right?
Your
So
network is
you
breaking.
get
Oh. Ha.
people are calling me. I'm not playing.
Not you.
I'm not doing. 300 level can be. Hey, it's not only 300, it's 400 level now. I've seen that message in that group. I'm just like, as if I'm not seeing it. Now, another thing is, all narrative follow a storyline. Starting with the background of the story. This one is very sweet. Now, so when you watch a movie, the way I explain this narrative is when you watch a movie. So the first thing you probably see in the movie is the normal Nigerian movie now. They know they fail. They will just show you one part of the movie that maybe somebody's dying, somebody's fighting, but that particular you might not get it. But it's like the background of the movie of the story. What actually happened? I'm trying to look at a movie that I watched that I can explain. Although I don't do I don't see Nigerian movies like that on YouTube. I just do recap. I'm a lover of recap because most time I work, so and I like to read and listen to whatever thing I'm reading. So I do recap. So in this particular recap story, there's a guy, he was trained by his he believed that the man was his father, but it wasn't his father, right? I'm telling you the background of the story. So he was trained by the man for over 20 years, but the man was building the guy for revenge, right? The man wants the guy to destroy his family. Yeah. Sorry, I don't know if you cannot hear us, you need to listen to the message again. So the man wants the guy to destroy the guy's family. So when he grew up, the man trained him to have that spirit for revenge. So unfortunately, the guy fell in love with somebody that changed him, that make him have soft spot, and the man wants to kill the girlfriend of the guy. It's called my long story short. I'm just telling the background of the story. That's what the background of the story is. So every narrative essay will naturally have background of their story. The reason why the story is like that. And there's the climax of the story. This one now we always ask you. In fact, 300 level are doing climax. For those of you in mass com, you do this one, you jab this for all the days of your life, so you finish this now. The climax of the story. That's the most interesting part of the story. For me, when I'm watching maybe I'm watching like I'm seeing a love movie. I like to know how they love themselves, how they got to love. Yeah, that's me. What me I like. So I know. But see, if you like fight, break your head. That's none of my business. Like it's not. How you guys met, right? What was the attraction between you guys? What was that? Why are you still attracted to yourself? Right? How did you guys build that relationship together? Despite the fact that they love you, your family members are against you guys getting married. Those are the things that I'm always looking at when I'm seeing movies. And what are the moral lessons I've learned from the movies? How did they those kind of things, right? The climax of the story is the most interesting part of the story. For some people, it can be when somebody died in a particular film. Oh, then you started crying, you're crying. That's like to you the climax of the story. That interesting part of the story, call it the climax of the story, right? Now, the story sometimes some of your stories can be tragedy. There can be tragedy. Tragedy are stories that end with sad notes. On a sad note, when somebody that you truly truly love died. Some of you that have watched Merlin, Merlin, Otto, Gwen, Ngba, I used to watch Merlin. So, like that's the climax of the story. When was it Otto? Was it Gwen that died? I think it was Gwen that died, but that was back again. When she died, that was painful part of the story for me. That's my own climax. It was the most exciting part, but to me, it didn't pay me, right? So that's part for narrative essay. Another thing now is saying that a good narrative essay keep the reader in suspense. Because when you read a narrative essay, especially because those of you who are reading novels, the major reason why you are reading novels because you have suspense. Like the person wants to know what is going on. The person wants you to know what is going on next. That's what the book is talking about. Please mute your mic. Thank you. So the person wants you to know what is going on. Yeah. Thank you so much. Mute your mic. So the person wants you to know what is going on next, right? And the person wants to keep you in suspense. Suspense. The person wants you to anticipate what will happen next, right? To know what will be unfold. There was a movie that I saw. I was like, why would this person kill this person? Those kind of things, right, can naturally make you want to read narrative text. Why are we doing this thing? Now we'll give you question. Now we'll give you a passage. Then now we'll ask you, is this a narrative essay or an expository essay? It's important
Hmm.
that you know the difference between the two. One is formal, one is informal. Right? This one, naturally, narrative are
Hmm.
informal. You write everyday life, you talk about things, right? Whether the stories are real or not, oh, they're just stories. Stories about
Okay,
people,
sorry.
about human
Wait,
beings,
tell me
about
I'm
ideas.
confused.
This one. Please mute your mic, oh. Thank you. I have to mute you. I'm so sorry. I might have to mute you now. Right. All right. So the next one is narrative follow a sequence order. So it can be in place of time, importance, and the end of serious events. So that is what they used to do, like what actually happened, background of the story. But that's in form of time. The importance, what really happened. So the guy was poor. After a while, they came from a poor background and then he wants to marry a rich heiress. His family opposition. At first, he wants to marry the lady for money. After a while, he grew to fall in love with the lady. No, this love story that we used to eat on YouTube that did not have sense. After a while, they go to love themselves. That's I'm talking about the order of importance now. At the end, they later marry. That's the presence of the event. That's a narrative essay, anything story. Another thing is that the explanation does not form the major part of the story. Everything that I explain in the story is not part of the entire story. Even from the beginning. Of course, when some of the films that you're always watching on YouTube, they will start with something that is not even the part of the entire story. Maybe somebody's fighting. Yeah, they also break themselves, somebody not died. Then you just see they'll be writing to somebody name. And they'll not start telling the story from the beginning to the end. That's what narrative essays are like. Even books too have like that. Like books have that. They'll just write the short part of the book. When he entered, he break her head. Then I had chapter one. They start telling you stories from the beginning to the end. Right, that's what I'm saying. Vividness, making all character or events look real. Some of these things might be imagination, right? They might not be true events for all this narrative essay. So they're different. All right, so that's everything under narrative essay. Now we're moving to expository essay, I guess. I just want you to know the difference between the two. It's important that you know the difference between the two. This is last thing we'll treat today. We treated some questions, so we need to rest. So that some of you can read for tomorrow. Because I wouldn't want to keep you here till I said to 10, this is 10. I'm sorry. All right, so expository essay, this one, National Open University. What now we'll do is now we'll give you a text, right, for this one and tell you what's the difference between is this a narrative essay? Is this a descriptive essay? Now we'll definitely give you this. And also features of expository essay. Expository essays are essays that naturally deals with writing real life events, talking about ideas. They are more formal in nature, right? They deals with you making and explaining you explaining an issue, you talking about a particular important topic, you writing a theory, you creating a plan, a good work of art, a concept. They are different from stories, real life story, where a tragedy or those ones are narrative essay. So that's what this one means. So they are more formal in nature. You don't do even your isn't, you don't put them there. You write it in full, right? Does not, is not, right? Those ones have not, right? Those ones you write them in full. Compared to when you have narrative essay, you can use isn't, shouldn't, but this one should not. It must be there. It must be clear. This one they don't tell you stories. They just relate. They talk about real life issues, content, like the importance of education, importance of marriage. Why should you learn how to take pride in whatever thing you're doing? Those ones are expository essays. They are written in logical and sequential order, right? Their order is the ideas, the way you build the ideas, like the importance of something, the type of it, right? How they relate to you, things you need to do to get them. They're always their own idea is from small to big. Compared to narrative essay can start from anywhere. Narrative essay can even start from your climax or your suspense, right? So I think that is all for now that we want to read. All right. So if you have any question related to what we have treated, probably ask me. Probably ask me. Yes, probably ask me. Can you mute your mic? Can you mute your mic and ask me? So I'm going to ask us question now. I'm going to ask those questions. I want to see if you understand the difference between narrative and expository text. Right. I will be asking those questions now. Mute your mic to give me the answer. I'll give us the topic. Right. And then you tell me whether it falls under expository or narrative. Right. So the benefit of reading books, is it an expository text or narrative text? The benefit of reading books, is it expository or narrative?
Expository.
Which one?
Expository text.
Is an exposition text.
Okay, so the day I met somebody famous, expository or narrative? Or narrative?
Narrative.
The role of technology in education, expository or narrative?
Expository.
A memorable journey with my family, expository or narrative?
Narrative text.
The best birthday surprise I ever had, narrative or expository?
Narrative.
My first day at school, narrative or expository?
Narrative.
The effect of social media on education, narrative or expository?
Expository.
Expository or narrative?
Expository.
How to save money as a student that I am, narrative or expository? I want to confuse you. How to save money as a student that I am?
Narrative.
Somebody is saying
Expository.
expository. Why is it expository? I'm talking about ideas, but I'm not relating it to myself. Right? It's narrative. Because now I can confuse you. That's why I decided to confuse you. It's narrative. Of course, I'm educating you guys, expository. But then I bring myself into the table. And because I know that I'm going to write it using informal text. Yeah. If all those students, so what will you do to this? Okay, who are we going to kidnap? We'll kidnap gift. Kidnap love. This one, Boviki. This one, all of them, we use them for. No, it's the money issue. We just try to kidnap all of them. So those ones are what? Narrative. So another one. My most embarrassing moment, narrative or expository?
Narrative.
A visit to my village.
Narrative.
Sounds narrative.
Colade tutorial on how to make money.
Expository.
Expository.
Narrative.
Colade's tutorial on how to make money is what?
Expository.
Expository.
Why is it expository? Why is comment should tell me why is it expository? Why?
I feel because it explains.
Explain
how to make money.
How to make money.
What if Colade wrote the book using informer? What would be my text?
Using informer to become
It will become what?
narrative.
It's not narrative. I'm the one that is confusing you.
Right.
So if Colade wants to sell, that's why I need you to think critically. You cannot write a book on how to make money using informer. Oh, Vetaja, you are not ready to sell. Say your family member that want to read the book. So if I say Colade's tutorial, I mean Colade is teaching, right? He's explaining some things. He's giving us information. He's explaining. He's expository. I just mentioned the person's name, but it's still expository, no matter how you want it. Especially when it comes to a book that's about finances. It's expository. It's not narrative. It's not narrative.
Okay.
It's not narrative.
Gotcha.
The food I cooked.
Narrative.
Sorry, come again. Sorry, please come again.
Unemployment in Nigeria.
Expository.
Okay, let me not confuse us. Female versus male.
Tree.
Which of this is
Expository.
female versus male? Boarding school is better than private school. What is the essay?
That's
In
still
this context,
expository.
it's expository. But when you see argumentative text, pick that one. It's an argumentative, a persuasive text. All right, so we're done for this night. I need you guys to go and relax and read. Sorry for taking you guys time. You know that I love you now. No. Let's go and do well. Go and do. I don't want to call
We love
Loma
you
tomorrow.
too.
You that you say it's wicked. The Yoruba that even said that's what we write it down. Osha Burusha.
Thank you, ma'am.
Aburuta.
Oh, Burusha. They say somebody is aggressive. She said Osha Burusha. All right, thank you everyone. You guys are loved any day, anytime. If you have issues, you might probably call me. Let us know. Do I catch you for examination malpractice too. I reach out to chat that was so I will know who will beg for your behalf. You guys are loved. Good night, everybody. And God
Good
go with you
night.
tomorrow.
Thank you so much.
Good night.
Thank you.
Human.
All right.